Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Seeds of Faith. I am Reverend Siddiqui. The seed for today is about seeing and believing. There is an interesting book called Believe It or Not by Robert Ripley. Have you ever read it? There are also, believe it or not, museums all over the place. We have one in Niagara that showcases unbelievable occurrences. Mr. Ripley enjoyed collecting strange and amazing bits of information, which, although they seem unbelievable, were true. Here's a couple. Believe it or not, a man by the name of James Cook once had a chicken that laid a perfectly square egg. Now, I've seen white eggs and brown eggs, even spotted eggs, but I have never seen a square egg. Have you? I think I'd have to see it to believe it. But it is true. Here's one I bet you didn't know. How long do you think the world's largest wiener sausage was? The world's largest weenie was over 3,000 feet long, weighed 885 pounds, and took 103 butchers to carry it. Now that's a load of baloney. I would have to see that to believe it. Ripley's book is filled with these things that are very hard for you and I to believe. But you know what? If it's true, it's true. Whether I or you believe it or not. In today's Bible lesson in John 20, we learn that on the Sunday that Jesus rose from the grave, he appeared to a group of his disciples. One of his disciples, whose name was Thomas, was not with them. When the disciples told Thomas that they had seen Jesus and that he was alive, Thomas said, "I won't believe it until I see it with my own eyes. I want to put my finger in the nail prints in his hand and place my hand where the spear was thrust into his side." A week later, Jesus appeared to the disciples again, and Thomas saw him. Jesus invited Thomas to touch his hands where the nails had been. He told Thomas to put his hands in the wound in his side, just as Thomas wanted. Then Thomas believed. And Jesus said to him, "Because you have seen, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." A lot of people in Jesus' time and even today don't believe that Jesus really rose from the grave because they haven't seen him with their own two eyes. People other than his disciples saw Jesus after he rose from the dead, and they believed even in Jesus' time. But do you know what? It is true, whether they or we believe it or not. We could say that those who need evidence are faced with doubt, but doubt is not a bad thing. Sometimes doubt can help us to believe. In fact, doubts can be the seeds of a very strong faith, where our doubts lead us to ask questions, and we use the evidence we receive to lead us to accepting the answers. You and I have never seen Jesus, but we believe. We accept him by faith, and our acceptance is based on what the scripture teaches, our personal experience, reason, and our tradition. We don't have to see it to believe it. In fact, St. Augustine says faith is to believe what you do not yet see. The reward for this faith is to see what you believe. So here is the seed for this week. As followers of Jesus, we all have our doubts about various aspects of the Christian story and what we believe. Doubt is not a bad thing. Doubt leads us to ask questions and seek answers. We are free to have doubts because if something is true, doubt doesn't change it. But when our questions are answered, like Thomas, even in our doubts, these deepen and make our faith stronger. Jesus acknowledged that it is not easy to believe without seeing, and those who do are blessed. So this week, believe it or not, having faith is like believing without seeing. See you next week. Bye.